If you're thinking of upgrading your home or maybe even building a new one, it's easy to focus on the features that seem the most impressive. But in reality, some of these decisions can make a home harder to live in as well as harder to sell. So on today's episode of Homes Explained, I'm going to walk you through some of the most common mistakes which I'm seeing right now, as well as what I would suggest you do instead. Let's start with swimming pools, because on paper they may seem like the ultimate lifestyle upgrade. And for some, they absolutely are. But for most, in reality, they're expensive to install, expensive to maintain, and only end up being used for a fraction of the year. They can also limit your buyer pool when it comes time to sell, because not everyone wants the cost or the responsibility that comes with a swimming pool. So I would suggest that a better option for most people is to install a hot tub instead. Now, just to be clear, you obviously can get the prefabricated above ground hot tubs from kind of Lowe's or Home Depot. What I'm talking about is they're still expensive, but the built in-ground gunite hot tubs, but they're not quite on the same level or size as a swimming pool would be. I would suggest a hot tub over a pool because they can be used in all seasons. They're smaller, they're easier to maintain, and they typically get much more use. And most importantly, they don't tend to put off buyers in the same way that a full swimming pool does. If anything, most people get quite excited about the idea of having a hot tub. Next is hardwood flooring, specifically the idea that it needs to be everywhere. Hardwood is often seen as a premium choice, but that doesn't mean that it's the best option for every room, and bedrooms are a good example of this. Many people actually prefer carpet there for warmth, comfort, and sound. And carpet is actually making a comeback, even in the very high-end homes, because people are starting to prioritise how a space feels, not just how it looks. In the main living areas, engineered wood is often a more practical choice now than solid hardwood. And if you get a decent quality one, it can look absolutely fantastic. It's also more stable, especially with temperatures and humidity. It's great with pets, and it just tends to hold up better over time. So rather than trying to carry one material throughout the entire home, it's usually better to be more intentional. Use engineered wood where it makes sense, and don't be afraid to use carpet where people actually want it. Another mistake I see a lot, which is an expensive one, is elaborate outdoor kitchens. Now, they initially look fantastic and in theory they sound like a great idea, but in practice people don't use them nearly as much as they think they're going to. And for anything beyond very simple cooking, people tend to gravitate back to their main indoor kitchen and just bring the food out. Then there's the maintenance. Because everything with an outdoor kitchen is exposed to the elements, it very quickly shows. You get cobwebs, the stainless steel needs constant cleaning, and all those appliances, the grills, the fridges, the storage cupboards, either sit unused or require a lot of upkeep to keep them looking good. So instead of building out a full second kitchen outside, it's usually better to keep it simple. A good grill, maybe even something freestanding and not built in that you can take with you to your next house, a comfortable seating area and proper coverage. Now, that may not seem very elaborate or impressive, but that is the core of what actually gets used outside. The next mistake I see are with niche rooms, such as dedicated home theatres, full gym rooms with mirrored walls, or highly specific spaces designed for one purpose. The challenge with these rooms is that they're very tailored to a specific lifestyle, and that lifestyle doesn't always stick. What feels like a great idea at the time can often end up being very underutilised. And from a resale standpoint, it can actually make it harder for a buyer to imagine the space, how they would use it. Take theatre rooms, for example. Now, there's nothing wrong with creating a great setup, like blackout curtains, a projector, comfortable seating. But once you start building in tiered platforms, the black everywhere, very heavy, bulky theatre seating, built-in bars, it makes it really hard to repurpose the room for any other reason. Similarly, with workout rooms, a treadmill or some equipment is fine, but when you start having a whole wall full of mirrors or you start installing the ballet bar, it makes it feel very specific. And in most cases, it's just much better to keep those spaces far more flexible. A well-designed bonus room that can function as a media room, workout space, playroom, guest area, depending on what you need, tends to work far better, and it appeals to a much broader range of buyers when it's time to sell. And finally, the last mistake that I see are built-in smart home systems. These can sound very appealing, everything integrated and controlled from one place. But the reality is that technology moves really fast, and what feels like cutting edge today can feel quite outdated in just a couple of years. And when those systems are hardwired into a house, it can be very difficult and expensive to replace or update. From a buyer's perspective, they don't always see the value in a system that they didn't choose themselves. They may not even have all the parts for, and usually they like to just start from scratch. Again, I would say a simpler approach works better. You'll notice a theme here. I would say reliable kind of plug and play devices that you can upgrade over time without having to open up walls or rework the house. So that would give you the functionality you need today without kind of locking you into a system that's just not going to age well. But what's just as interesting as the mistakes people are making with what they're adding is the mistakes they're making with what they're taking away. Most common right now, I'm seeing people removing baths from the primary bathroom suite and leaving them with just a shower-only setup. And while that may suit how you personally live, it's a big drawback when it comes to resale, because a lot of buyers still expect there to be a tub in the primary bathroom suite, even if they rarely use it themselves. So I would definitely recommend you keep that tub. You don't have to use it, but it's something buyers still definitely look for. Another mistake I'm seeing are people repurposing their dining rooms and turning them into second offices, playrooms, or just removing them from the layout altogether. Again, it may suit how you want to live day to day, but it can be a big mistake when it comes to resale. Buyers still expect a dining room. They may not use it all the time, but they want it there for when they do, whether it's hosting, homework, holidays, or just having the option. It's just one of those features that people still look for and they notice if it's missing. The final mistake I'm seeing is people turning a bedroom into a full custom closet. Now, it may be a dream setup for you, but the issue is you're removing a bedroom, and that has a direct impact on how your home is valued. Bedroom count is one of the first things that buyers look at, and it's also how homes are compared when it comes to pricing. So let's say you drop from a 4-bed to a 3-bed, you're immediately putting your home into a different category, a lesser category. It also narrows the buyer pool because you have more people looking for a 4-bed than you do a 3-bed, regardless of how nice that built-in closet is. A better approach, and one that I would suggest, is to keep it reversible by using freestanding wardrobes and furniture so you can enjoy the space how you want to without changing the home permanently and redefining the category in which your home will be judged. At the end of the day, it's not about having more features, it's about making better choices with the space that you have. The homes that work best and sell best are the ones where everything feels considered, flexible, and easy to live in. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next week for more Homes Explained.